Tagless, I'm going tagless. I'm Rosanne DeTorres, and thank you for your patience in allowing me to get my recording going. I am an attorney. I manage and run a small boutique family law and divorce practice here in Hunterdon County. I've had a practice on Main Street since 1998, so I'm very familiar with Hunterdon County as a business owner. And I started my practice, my current partnership with Rosanne DeTorres in 2011. And we have been on an upward trajectory ever since. We've done very well in Hunterdon County. Hunterdon has been very good to us. And I now consider myself not just a lawyer who helps people, and many, many women. Most of our clients happen to be women for some reason. But many women exit their unhappy marriages, but also I consider myself to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. And because of how Hunterdon has treated me and my firm, I've raised my daughter here. I now live here with my partner and spouse, and my mother now lives here with me in Hunterdon. So Hunterdon has been good to me, and I consider it my honor to do something for Hunterdon County, and that's why I got involved in the Local Business Community Leadership Council. I was actually introduced to Rachel and Bonnie by my dear friend Ann Thornton. I've known Ann since I got to Hunterdon in 1994. She accosted me at a Hunterdon Chamber event because she didn't know me. And you know, being the new kid on the block, I was nervous and didn't know anybody, and she was very kind and introduced herself, and we've been friends ever since. And really have experienced an amazing journey together as business owners, as women business owners, because we both have created very successful businesses here in Hunterdon County together, and now we are part of a mastermind together too, where we get to learn about business with other very successful women entrepreneurs. So I want to introduce you to somebody that lives in our community. You may never have heard about her, and her name is Alice. And Alice is just an acronym for asset limited, income constrained, employed. So what does that mean? It's the working poor. These are people that are one flat tire, one water heater, broken water heater, one sick child even, away from losing their job or becoming impoverished because there's no safety net for them. But rather than me tell you about these people in any great detail, I'd like to share the story of Alice with you and introduce you to Charlene. So take a look. Anybody surprised by Charlene's story? Would you be surprised to know how many people that fall within that category live here in our beautiful, bucolic, affluent Hunterdon County? Anybody want to guess? How many percent of our population? No, it's not that much. 19% of the people, almost 20% of the people that live in Hunterdon County fall within the Alice category and struggle to get by. And that's not including people that live below the poverty line. These are just people, the working poor. I want to share some additional statistics for you to think about, and really why we're here today, which is to elevate these people from this predicament. There's 126,000 people that live in Hunterdon. That's 47,000 approximately households. The median income in Hunterdon County is 103,000, so that's the average. There's 19% of those households live in the Alice category. 5% of those households live in poverty. And if you look at what they need to survive, and this is a bare minimum budget, does not include savings or any money put aside for unexpected expenses. An Alice household typically earns above the poverty level, which is $11,600 a year. For a single person, and 23, almost 24,000 for a family of 4, but less than the minimum survival budget. The survival budget in Hunterdon County is over $25,000 a year for a single person. So a single person that makes minimum wage cannot survive in Hunterdon County. They can if they live at home with their parents or they cohabit with other people, but living on their own, it's not sustainable. That's for a single person. A family of 4 has to earn $81,000 to survive in Hunterdon County. Just think about that for a second. And if you have kids, forget about it. Like, all bets are off with expenses, right? They just make it harder, because if a child gets sick and you have that kind of job where you're the only parent, let's say you're the only parent to provide for the kids and you can't go to work and your kid is sick for 4 days, what's going to happen to your job? And then it's this vicious circle for these people. More Alice families tend to be headed by single parents than married. So with that, before I talk to you about what you can do, each and every one of us, and what I'm trying to do, and what the local community business leadership council, the local business community leadership council is trying to do, another acronym. Before we get to that, another part of our program today is my dear friend Ann Thornton is going to talk about what's near and dear to her heart and some really practical information all women could use, and even the men in the room, maybe, I'm pretty sure, about how to take care of your house. And then I'm going to come back and talk to you in a few minutes about what you can do to help Alice in our community. Thank you.
I see all that beautiful food over there, so I will not be offended at all if you want to get up and grab something to eat or a drink. Please, we're all here together. So as Roseanne said, oh, right here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Suck it in. As Roseanne said, I won't stand here, believe me. I'm too active to stand in one place. I own MSI Plumbing and Remodeling, and we've been in business almost 30 years here in Hunterdon. It's exactly what I say, plumbing and remodeling. We have 5 plumbers, and we have 10 to 12, 13 carpenters any day of the week. We have office staff, so altogether we have about between 20 and 25 employees. We service families, single family homes, condos, commercial buildings, etc. So over the years, even though I'm not a plumber and I'm not a carpenter, I've become pretty knowledgeable about what we do. And over the years, I've been writing in town newsletters, condo newsletters, all kinds of tips to help you with your home. And so a couple of years ago, I decided to turn that into a book, and I have it over here. And by the way, the book is for sale tonight. It's $15, and $10 of every book will come back to United Way, and the other $5 will help me pay for the publishing of the book. But it's called Ann Thornton's Insider's Guides. Oh, thanks, Roseanne. To home improvement. And it's filled with tips for your home, because the thing that I have found, in my 30 years of answering the phone, because in the beginning I did answer the phone, right, is that as women in particular, we don't really know how to take care of our homes. And it can cause us to have expenses that we shouldn't have to have. It makes the life of the things in our home shorter because we're not taking care of them on a regular basis because we don't know. And so I'm a former educator, actually. My background is I have an undergraduate degree in special education and sociology, and I have a master's in vocational counseling. And I always thought that I would have Kim Metz's job, that I would be that was my goal, was to get a PhD and be the superintendent of a school. But I got divorced from my first husband and moved to New York City instead. It was a good move. And that's how I ended up here in Hunterdon eventually, right? So I've had all these careers. But I know for certain that my female clients in particular, not only do we not know, we don't feel confident about how to take care of our homes. So my passion now and what I'm trying to do in my presentations is to give, not only if you're a homeowner, you can be a renter, and there are things that you can do also in your home to help take care of your home. is to show you lots of things from your home. In these bags, we have all kinds of goodies. So I'll go through them quickly because I'm going to talk about a half an hour and then we're going to get back. So the most important thing is to just recognize that there are ongoing maintenance items in your home that need to be taken care of. So in the beginning, when I talk to people, I always like to start with the safety aspects because everybody should have a smoke detector, right? Carbon monoxide detector, fire extinguishers. How many of you have all those in your home? How many of you know when you put them in? Did you write dates on them? Okay. How many of you ever shut off a fire extinguisher? Right. How many of you would freak out if you had to shoot off a fire extinguisher? Okay. Listen, in my home 2 weeks ago, I had one of Megan Holt's pizzas, right? The pizza from Stockton Market, but not the whole thing. I was only going to eat a slice. Dumb me. I throw it in the oven just on the rack because that's what it says to do, but I didn't think about the cheese falling down. I look in my oven and there's a fire in my oven, and my first thought is, fire extinguisher? And I think, no, I don't think I'm supposed to use that in the oven, right? And so I ran and I get flour. The second thought is, where is the flour? And I put it out. But in my point, it was a split second. And luckily, it was enclosed in my oven fire. I knew it would eventually go out if I didn't open it, right? But it's not always like that. So if you have a fire extinguisher and you don't know how to use it, go to YouTube and watch somebody use it. Look at the directions so that you don't panic, all right? So and the smoke detectors and the fire alarms, they have lives. So if you put one in 5 or 10 years ago, guess what? Its life is probably up. It needs a new one. And Kidde recalled 38 million fire extinguishers last year. If you have a Kidde, K-I-D-D-E, fire extinguisher in your home, go home and look at it. I have actually the list here. They have plastic handles. Check to see that yours is not on that list. 38 million, that's a lot of fire extinguishers. So they'd been sold for the prior several years. So look that up or see me afterwards, okay? So those are important. The next thing that's so important about your home in my safety realm, there's a couple of them. The next is tripping and falling. Check around, especially this time of year, this winter, outside, your bricks have heaved. Pavers have heaved, things have moved. It's important to look for these items because you will trip and fall. I guarantee you. And I have fire extinguishers. These bags, let me back up for a minute. My 98-year-old mother-in-law, who's a seamstress, and when I used to do this, these were all in Walmart bags, and that looked so tacky. And I was like, I got to do something. And she made me all these bags. So each little thing, I know, they're all custom made, red and black, to go with it. But I have samples here. But getting back to falling, I fell in Frenchtown a couple years ago. That's me, that's my forehead. It was bad. I mean, lucky me, I just hit right here. I tripped on a paver that had heaved, that they said had not been there before. So again, take that 5 minutes, walk your property, walk outside to make sure that everything is okay before you start sending your kids and family outside. A couple other safety things. How many of you have your dryer vents cleaned regularly? How many of you know that you even have a dryer vent you're supposed to clean? That it's not the lint collector. You know the lint? It's not the lint collector, it's the dryer vent. Now, if you live in a condo, you know they have rules that usually they have to have them done every year. But a lot of people in their homes don't realize they need to be done. Look at the difference. Fires, people. And when you live in these big houses where the runs go like this, the condensation will hold it down. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons to have this checked every year. So these things are important because they can keep you from having a disaster. And if we can not have a disaster in our house, to your point about Alice, people are one disaster away. So if we can maintain what we have in a safe way, then everyone's going to be better for it. Another big thing we see at MSI are washing machine hoses. How many of you think about your washing machine hose every day like me? I mean, I dream of washing machine hoses. They put my kids through college, actually. Because when they burst, 600 gallons of water come out an hour. Wow. Because your washing machine hose is under constant pressure. Unless you turn it off at the valve or have a valve installed in the back that's easily accessible. I'm going to show you a couple different kinds. These are the mother of all washing machine hoses. We sell these. They're called flood checks. They're $50 each. They've never had a failure. These are awesome washing machine hoses. 20-year warranty. Now, others have 5-year warranties. So,
I think I need an appointment.
5-year warranties. So think about it. If you haven't looked at your washing machine hose in 10 years,
They don't look like that.
you might want to check those out, because believe me, they will blow, and when they blow, it's exciting. And and it makes money for plumbers, big money. We did a job for a professional football player up in Chester. He had a big $1 million condo or house up there, and he was in Florida. It was winter 3 years ago. The washing machine was on the second floor. He didn't have anybody checking the house. It was like a $180,000 insurance claim because the mold, the kitchen was underneath. I mean, everything was demolished. Yeah, it was a big deal. So this is my washing machine. You see, I have the flood check hoses. And this is a single handle washer valve. And I'm paranoid because think about me having a leak, right? That would be bad. So after every wash, not just when I leave my home, after every wash, I just lean back and turn that valve off. Even though I have the 20-year never. If you don't have this installed, if you have the old, I'll show you in a minute, the old gate valve type valves, you need to get them replaced. Get your plumber out as soon as possible because it's an accident waiting to happen. Okay, so washing machine hoses are important. Here, I'll show you those gate valves. If you have any of these, whoops, they're heavy too. If you have questions, please talk. Yeah. Who's got these at their house?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. These are antiques, people. You may
Sell
cut
them for
out
good
and
money.
put them on a shelf because they're antiques and they're sure to fail. And how many of you go under your sinks and exercise them? Once a month?
Not once a month.
Once a month?
No.
Once a quarter?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well that's good.
Before
You're
we
like
go
the
on
only person I've
vacation,
ever
we
even
shut
heard
it
that
off,
that
that's
has
for
done
sure.
it. They are just, look, this would never close anything, right? This is what happens. Either you can't turn it or it's stripped and it just turns and doesn't shut the water off. If you have any of these in your house, under your sinks, go home and look. Have your plumber come out and replace them with ball valves, which are these. See the ball inside? See, you guys see it? Okay, ball. Now I can't see you. These are new technology, and these are the best you can get.
Would that be for a toilet as well?
Yeah, anything where there's a valve, you can change.
Thank
You can
you.
change out to a new. If you have anything that looks like this,
Yep.
it needs to be changed out to.
Well, the toilets have that little silver, like, oval-shaped,
Yes, and those should be exercised if you're not exercising them. Yeah,
even my valves need exercise.
Yes, all your valves need exercise. I know it. It's like
Schedule
really?
that
Really?
Valve exercising day. All of them.
Where did my book go? Okay. Ice maker hoses. All right, ice maker. How many of you know? Look at your ice makers lately.
Yeah.
And have,
It's that
do you
little
know about those
tube-
hoses?
that little
They're
tube.
bad. They will also break. And most of them are plastic. The ones that came in with your refrigerator, a lot of them look like this. They have a 1-year warranty. This is like, how much was that? I wrote it down. It was $10 at Lowe's. 25-foot, 1/4 inch refrigerator ice maker, 1-year warranty. And the water out here is so bad that it corrodes everything anyway, so it's going to corrode it faster. So if you don't have I can give you a whole presentation on water conditioning and water problems out here in Hunterdon. But again, I usually when I look at it, the audience, they're all like looking at me thinking, oh, that's never going to happen to me. And in my mind, I'm thinking, it happens every day. I know you don't think so, but I get phone calls every day. It's this, it's that, these things happen, it's my world every day. And I know it's not yours, so that's why I'm trying to impart how important it is. I don't want you to have any of these, but there's a few things that you can go home and actually check in your home to see. Be very careful when you move your refrigerator out, because if it is compromised, it will burst, right? How many of you know, speaking of that?
I'm just going home to check my
Oh,
plumbing.
okay. That is so funny. You're welcome.
So
Oh, gosh.
turns leaking down the back of your fridge and into your fridge when those
first.
Yeah, it could go either way. I mean, right, it could be inside, I mean, it could be outside, it could be all over, right? The thing with these though, is they become so brittle over time, so be very careful if you're pulling it out. Oh, what I was gonna say is, how many of you know how to turn the water off to your house? And how many of you who do know that have taught your children to do it? Oh.
They wouldn't
Or
listen anyway.
your Aunt Peg, who comes and stays for 3 weeks in the summer. Or your babysitter. Right. You need to know how to turn your water off, people, because that is the biggest thing in water is the biggest enemy of a home, whether it's coming from a pipe or through a roof, right? But you have to know how to turn the water off to your home. It's so important because water moves so fast through these, through these pipes. So if you don't know, have somebody show you, Google it, ask a plumber, and then put a tag on that valve, wherever it is. It's usually down in your basement. It could be outside, it depends. Mostly it's in your basement. If you have a basement, it's inside. Find out how to do it and get that valve exercise too. Because you don't want to go down there and not be able to move it. So that's what the exercise is all about, just to move it back and forth so that it stays, so that it's accessible. Okay, a couple more things here we'll go through. This is, let's see. How many of you have slow drains? Oh, you have slow drains? Slow drains. This is a great little tool. All my plumbing trucks, my big fancy plumbing trucks, we have these tools that we get at Walmart too. And they're called drain, you can get them online. They're called the drain weasel. You guys have one of these? Anybody? You keep them in your house. And again, periodically, you should just, it's really one of the grossest things you can do, people. If you can get somebody else to do it for you, do it. But if you can't, then you're going to have to do it yourself. But it will save you money, because if you keep that crap out of your drains, you won't have a clogged sink, or you won't have clogs. And it's mostly hair.
What do you think of those cheap little $2 disposable ones that have like the teeth on them?
Yeah, that's what these are. They're replaceable. Yep, same thing. Just have some in your home and do it periodically. There's another product that we recommend and we sell, and you can get online too, and it's a preventative product. I use it in my home, and it's called BioClean. And there's brochures over here afterwards, anybody that's interested. This is an all-natural product. We've been selling it for years. They make it out in the Midwest. They say you can even eat it. I have not tried that. But you introduce this into your drains and your toilets once a month. And it's all natural enzymes, bacteria that just sit and work your pipes and eat all that stuff away. Now, I had a slow, when you own a plumbing company, guess who's last on the list to get their plumbing stuff fixed? That would be me. So I have a slow-moving drain in my bathtub for years where I give my dog a bath. And my husband, I'm like, did you do the BioClean? No. All right, so finally I took it into my own hands to do this. I thought, all right, forget it. I'm going to do it myself. I started in January. I did January, February. 2 months, and that drains beautifully now. I could not believe it myself. I mean, really, I was like, I know we sell this, but yeah, it really works. This is a great product. You do it once a month, and it just keeps eating. Don't use Drano, because this is what happens to a drain. This is called a fat burn. A lot of pipes look like this now, and they've had huge problems in major cities. Like last year, Baltimore had a fat burn that was so big, it spilled like 100,000 gallons of sewage into the streets. Because so many people are putting all this stuff down their drains in cities, and if you're doing it in your home too, this is how your drain will begin to look. So think about it. If you put in a Drano product, gravity is going to just push it right down here, right? It's only going to clear this portion of your drain, of your pipes. And it might drain clear for a little bit, but it will definitely look like this again. And so with this BioClean product, it eats it 360, so it clears the whole drain. And it's a continuous, and it's good for you, it's fine for your septic, etc. I mean, it could be city homes, it doesn't matter whether you're on a septic or city sewer. But this is a really great product. So if you're interested in that, like I said, there's brochures and you can get it. Any other questions going on here? A couple more things. How am I doing on time? Good? Okay. I'm talking fast because I want to get through. Usually I take an hour because I have all kinds of stuff. but we'll do this. All right, water heaters. You mentioned a water heater. Water heaters are expensive. Anybody do a water heater lately? I mean, it could be a couple grand. Easy, right? And we have terrible water around here, as we know. So getting back to kind of the whole concept of Alice and taking care of our homes and trying to lower our expenses and making sure that we can afford the things that we have, et cetera, that we don't have these massive breaks in whatever in our lives. Taking care of your water for your water heater is important because this is called an anode rod. This goes in the middle of every water heater. And it is designed to collect the minerals and such from water. But if you're treating your water before it gets, it won't be as bad. Your water heater will last longer. And if you get a new water heater, then it should be flushed regularly. However, you would never start to flush an old water heater because then all this crap would just go over and ruin your water heater. So you can't really start flushing a water heater after it's been installed for a long time. But you can see, when you wash your hair, brush your teeth, the water passes through this every time. So, you want to minimize that if you can. So water quality is important. How many of you are on wells? Yeah. And even city water can be, how many of you live in Ringo's? Because Ringo's has a lot of arsenic in their water. You ever had it tested for arsenic? Yeah. There's a lot of arsenic in that part of the county. There's a lot of arsenic everywhere, but there's particularly for some reason down in the Ringo's area, there's a lot of arsenic. But the water testing is important, especially because we've had so many farms here for years and years. No telling what's going on underground. So we work with the Raritan Headwaters nonprofit group with them at MSI, and they do a lower cost testing for your water, and we serve as a depository for them for Clinton Township because we're right on 31 in Clinton Township. For the last 3 years, we're the only for-profit place that's ever worked with them to do that. But for me, for my company, for my plumbers, for everybody that works with us, water is important. It's very important to take care of it and to think about it. So, all right, a couple other things. Okay, how many of you have pets in your home? Lots of pets with dander. Okay, look at that. That is such a nice, clean air filter, isn't it? Do you know that you can put these in backwards? A lot of people put these in backwards. So when you change your air filter, first of all, make sure you're putting it in the right way. Look for the arrows. Second of all, put a date on it so that you know when you put it in. Because they'll end up looking like this. And this is even as bad as they can get. My guys tell me sometimes that they can't even, they don't even want to put that thing in the truck. They just want to get rid of it. They're so bad. Because a lot of people never change them. They don't know that they're supposed to change them. Now think about this, whether you're owning your own home or even renting. These are things you should be taking care of. Your landlord's not going to come in, every month or every quarter and change this for you. So these are things you can buy in bulk, right, at Home Depot or wherever, keep them and monitor that yourself. And the manufacturers of HVAC equipment says if it looks like this, you're better off to take it out and leave it out until you get a fresh one put in. Because this is putting so much stress on your equipment, okay? So this is the most, exciting, sexy speech you've ever heard because all of these awesome things about your home, I know people, wait, I haven't even gotten to the toilet part yet, okay? All right, we're coming up on that. That's fun. Let's talk about it now. Okay, what does this say?
It's a flushable wipe.
Flushable wipes, flushable wipes. Just say no to flushable wipes. These are so instrumental in those fatbergs I was telling you about in Baltimore. They had one in London a few years ago. They said it was the length of a football field.
Oh
Imagine the pipes underneath London with this, grease, the bits of food that goes down, whatever's going down your drain, that you might not care, whatever. Yeah, it's bad. Google fatberg. That'll keep you up at night. But seriously, the only thing that should go in your toilet, whether you're on a septic or on city water, is human waste and toilet paper. Not paper towels, not cigarette butts. Not your hair that you pulled out of the brush and you threw in there. Right, what else? Even tissues to blow your nose. I mean, they're probably okay. But paper towels, no. No, 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 because it will guarantee you'll get a clog eventually. They are not meant to go down your toilet. So keep that in mind, teach your children about that, and you will be happy. But definitely not these. Even though I don't even know how they get away with this. And every water department on the planet would like to put these people out of business. But, you know, we're just trying to educate you so that you don't have that backup at your home or at your place, okay? Also these, how many of you use these? Because everybody likes clean toilets. Now, the parts of a toilet, the back part is called the tank, right? The part where you sit is called the bowl. So a lot of these products have been made to go in the tank. You know, you take the top off, put it in the tank. But what these products don't tell you is that their product is going to, because there's rubber inside that's right moving, that their product is going to corrode the rubber on your flapper, making you have to replace your flapper more often. I know, it's crazy. So this little thing. But so if you do buy a product like this, get the one that goes in the bowl, not the tank, because it'll clean the bowl without affecting the flapper. But people use these all the time, and they haven't, you know, my guys are like, oh yeah, they got the thing in there, you know. It will actually degrade that flapper, right? Who knew? I know. 6 years of college. All right. Now this is a product. Anybody know what this is? Did I give you one?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
need- I have very hard water at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it's just a pumice
Is it
stone.
on this go?
With a little elbow grease, this will take off. I mean, any disgusting toilet, sink, whatever you have, this will take off the hard water stains. We buy them up, we give them away a lot. You can get these at Walmart. And you know, afterwards you can come take pictures of this so that you can look all this stuff up and grab it. But this is it's meant to degrade as you use it, you get it wet, and it just crumbles apart. But I had a toilet that had and I have a cleaning person, but she couldn't get that thing off, the ring off. And when we found this, somebody told me about this, I went home and did it myself, because I like to do things myself. I was like, oh, wow. I couldn't believe it. You know, we're all in our homes, you want to do whatever. And you're like, oh, all these years I'm thinking, I can't get that off. This will take it off. These are great products. Jeannie.
I just want to say, you gave me one of those, and I have a vinyl, only a 2 or 3 year old, like kind of like an inset shower thing. It's like no big deal, and it had these little rust things going down, and I could not get them off or anything. And she gave it to me, and I just was like, oh. And I was like, huh? It was like a kid with a crayon, and it was gone.
I know,
And
it
I'm
is.
like,
It's I know, the small things in life.
So true.
I
So
know,
that thing
I
is
know,
definitely
it's
one.
crazy. Yeah, so those are great products. Couple more things and we'll wrap it up here. Okay. Everybody know how to turn the water off to your toilet? That there is a valve behind your toilet you can turn. Okay, just make sure, because sometimes people don't know that. We have a mutual friend who didn't know about the dryer vent thing. And she's a single mom, very successful, 2 daughters. She had a new dryer, and she thought that the kids weren't doing the laundry right. It was, and I gave all the women in this group my book, and she was reading it one day, and she was like, the symptoms, it's hot to the touch, it's not drying, it's smelling musty. She was like, oh my God, I have a dryer vent. She went on her roof, and the dryer vent was completely clogged. The flap wouldn't even open, because she never knew that she had a dryer vent that was supposed to be cleaned out. And she called me, Rios, and she was like, oh my God, you saved my life. I went, what are you talking about? And she recanted the whole story, and I was like, yes, you have to do that. So, just because we know, not everybody does know. So share the information, right, with your friends and such. So everybody know, let's see, which one I want to get out first? Okay, I guess this one. All right, yeah. Everybody knows what this is. Right? It's actually called, it has a name, it's regular. It's a regular. Okay, hold on. What about this one?
Super.
Flange. That's a flange plunger. All right, so A lot of people, they don't have one of these, they have one of these. And they just have one. So I'm telling you, just have one of these. This is not meant for a toilet. I mean, you can use it in a toilet, it's really meant for a sink. But if you do use it in a toilet, don't use it in a sink. It's that simple. Because people do that. It's just like when you're cleaning gloves, lady. I mean, me, I have my natural nails. I do everything with rubber gloves on. And so when you're cleaning, you should have rubber gloves that are for bathroom cleaning, kept separate from the rubber gloves that are kitchen use. And a lot of people, again, you're going through your day. You're not thinking of these things. Sorry. This is the one for your toilet. This is the one that works better. Okay, it's a flange plunger. This is just a regular. Now, of course, because we're Americans and we have to have more than just 2 plungers, we invented this. This is the bellows toilet plunger. Now, I've never personally used this, but it seems like it would really work. I don't know.
I've used it.
Have you used it? Does it work?
It
All right.
works great.
The gentleman says it works great. I believe you. And look, it even says toilet plungers on here. She's going to be 98 next month. Amazing. All right, then this one I just found because it was so cute. I guess for little things. Your kid sucks. But the point is, again, using these as opposed to using some caustic, liquid drain cleaner down your drain is not a good idea. It will cause you more problems in the long run than using the proper tool, which we like to do whenever, for whatever we do. Some of the other, just things to remember about your home. A couple of things that I'm on a septic, and I'm like probably most of the women in here, especially when my kids were at home. I'm busy. I don't do the laundry during the week. I'm like Sunday afternoon laundry lady, and I'll do 14 loads because that's what I got. Well, when I was writing my book, I was doing more research. We don't really work on septic fields at our plumbing business, so I was doing more research, and I was doing the worst thing you could do to your septic system. Because when you wash 14 loads in a row, or 10 or 8, whatever it is, you are introducing all this soap into your septic that's killing all the bacteria that's doing all the hard work. It just never registered in my brain. I'm only thinking about me getting my work done, right? So that was one of the things I just completely stopped doing. Now I do laundry all week long. I'll do, I'll save all the towels, I'll do one on Tuesday night, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend 30 grand on my septic because I ruined it. So I totally stopped doing that. That's one little thing you can do. Let's see. I mean, there's all kinds of water-saving tips in the book. I hope that you guys will purchase the books today because there's hundreds of tips in there from everything from, electrical tips, all about roofing. And one of the things that I really want to impress, especially for the women in the room, is it's a book with a lot of vocabulary. Because women and really contractors have a terrible reputation for a good reason. Because a lot of times they will take advantage, particularly of women and people who don't know what they're talking about. So my feeling is if you have some education, if you have some foundation in some of the vocabulary words, if you have a roof leak and you read my chapter on roof leaks, you're going to know what ice and water shield is, what this is, what that is, right? So when someone's talking to you, they'll know you know more, which will make you more confident. And hopefully that kind of confidence translates into all of your life. Because if you feel like you can take care of your home, I know as I grew up, the more I felt that I could take care of myself and then take care of my home that I had purchased, that was a big deal. That made me confident. So that's one of the things I really try to do in the book is to build confidence in women. And it's always fun too because usually the men tell me they don't know it either. So they're there to learn as well. Not every man is born with all this knowledge, believe me. So I hope that you guys have learned something today. Any other questions or, yeah?
Does your company do like dryer vent cleaning and all of these things that you talked about today?
We don't do the dryer vent cleaning anymore. There are a lot of companies that do it. It's easy to find. Chimney companies will do it. But all the other plumbing, yes, and remodeling, etc. We do all of that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, questions? Did you have a question?
Other than getting a hard water softener, is there any other solution to preventing that sediment building up with the hard water in our county?
No. And you know, there's lots of, I have my binder here, the things that you can test for in your water. I don't know if you know, you can, the full-on test is like $600-700. But it's really good to get that because then you have a baseline. Because there's so much stuff in the water. Bacteria, I mean, the list is scary to look at. If you're not testing your water, I would highly recommend you research that and really think about testing your water and making sure that you have clean and, where's my binder, Rosanne? Where did that go? Because I had a whole list from them.
Behind the red ball
Is it
bags,
what?
I think.
So much stuff up here. Oh yeah, there it is, in there. So, for example, this is the test stuff you can test for. Nitrates, iron, manganese, lead, arsenic, volatile organics, pesticides, radon, gross alpha, coliform, and fecal, which is E. coli. That's the basic test. So all those things are in our water, people. Different levels of them in your water. So if you're not testing your water, I would really think about that. It's important. And even on your city water, believe it or not, you'll still have very hard water. At Beaverbrook, the water is like 17 times harder than it should be. Because we test it up there all the time. And which will turn a water heater that should last you 10 years, it'll last you 5 years. And it comes back to this. Protecting your investment, what you have, taking care of what you have, so that you can minimize those kinds of expenses to yourself, your home, your family, your friends, anybody that you can educate about it. So it's, it's pretty, the water aspect is pretty important. So in closing, I hope that you learned something. There's lots of reasons to try to do some of this yourself. And a lot of people are great. YouTube is a fantastic vehicle to learn to do things yourself. So don't be afraid to. But then, don't go too far if you do become afraid. Because then that's when I get the phone call. Well, he watched a YouTube video and he tried to fix it, but
So the water's now coming down.
Yeah. But there are a lot of things you can do yourself. You don't always have to have a plumber. And the kind of things I'm telling you to do will keep you from having to have a plumber so often, maybe. And believe me, there's plenty of work out there for us. So I'm happy to leave my audiences with these little tidbits so that maybe we won't have to be there as often at your home, or your plumber won't have to be there as often. And it'll save you money. And I hope that you tell other people about some of these kinds of simple things that you can do in your home to protect yourself and your investments. So there's my talk. And when we're all done, then if anybody wants books, then I'll stand back here and we'll do that. Jeannie.
Sorry, can you just tell everybody about your speaking about, again, the donations to the book?
Oh, yeah. So the book is $15. And so tonight, all the books that get sold, $10 is going to come back to, $10 for every book is going to come back to the United Way. As far as my speaking, I run my company, I'm president of my company, I'm totally engaged in my company, and my 30-year-old daughter, who's a banker in Seattle, is coming back to Clinton this summer to come into my company full time. So I'm super excited about that. And so I've decided to carve out a little career for my side career, just a little one. I'm still doing all this other speaking and writing, and so I'm doing different engagements. I've got and talk with the library. I do Rotary, any kind of speaking, any groups like women's groups. Your friends, whatever. If you can get 10 people together, I'll come talk to you and tell you all this stuff. So if you're interested in that, see me too. So thank you very much.
And we need people like Jeannie in our lives to help us promote ourselves, because we forget sometimes, promote what we're doing. So thank you, Anne, and thank you for sharing some of your tidbits and tricks of the trade. I certainly used some of them over the weekend. And when I got my generator out, and I know how to use it, I know how to get it out, I know how to put gas in it, I know how to turn it on, I know how to pull the chain, I know where the plug goes, I know how to switch the switches, but I don't know where the water thing is. So. I'm gonna have my brother, who's a plumber,
Yeah.
show me where it is. I'm gonna tag that valve in the house. So we hope that it was an enjoyable afternoon. Anne has a powerful story to tell about what she's accomplished, but also the information that she loves to share with people. And I don't know I know some of you know Anne, but she is a leader in our community in many ways beyond just as an entrepreneur and a women business owner, giving back to the chamber, to many, many charitable organizations. So she's really doing her part, which is a great segue because I know you guys, everybody showed up today to celebrate International Women's, is it month or day? Day, it's week, to celebrate all things that are, to celebrate all things female. There's beautiful food and there's drink, but really, the reason that we're here is to ask something of you all. And the credo of the United Way is give, advocate, volunteer. So it was a suggested donation today coming of $35. So if you haven't done that, please at least do that today, if you could make that donation. But if you can do more, we won't say no. We need help. Alice needs help. And United Way can't survive if people don't step up and help. And we were talking, because Jeannie asked me, why are you doing this? What are you doing this for? Why are you involved in this? I've been living, I grew up in Somerset County, but I went to college in Baltimore, and I came back to Hunterdon County because I had a baby. I was a single mother, and my sister lived out here on Barley Sheaf Road. So that's why I came here, because she took me in, and she took care of my baby so that I could go to work. And I never left. I still live here in Hunterdon County. I live in Highbridge. And we were talking about all the people, Kathy McCormick, owner of Gymnastics Unlimited. I'm sure some of you older folks, there's not many of us in the room, but my kid, she taught my kid how to do gymnastics. My kid's 27. When she was 7. She's been in Hunterdon County and had a career here and a successful business here for, did you say 60 years?
The business is 46.
46 years. I've been practicing law on Main Street in Flemington since 1998. Anne has been, I don't know, how long have you been in Hunterdon? Have I been there?
86.
Yeah.
32 years.
So the point I'm trying to make is Hunterdon has been good to you. So be good to Hunterdon. What can you do to share your prosperity? What can you do to help financially? And if you can't give, can you advocate? So now you know who Alice is. I didn't know who Alice was a year ago. I had no idea that Alice was one of the biggest demographics. They serve other populations, but United Way serves this huge population of people that live in Alice. Can you share on your Facebook page about the Alice video? It's on YouTube. Can you raise awareness? Do you have a LinkedIn community, a Facebook page? Can you tell people about Alice that live here in Hunterdon County? I was flabbergasted and shocked when I learned that there were 19% of the households in Hunterdon County live within Alice. And if they have one wash machine hose break, they are going to be in a crisis situation. So if you can't give, then please advocate and share the story of Alice with your friends, with your social media communities. And you can also volunteer. There are plenty of volunteer opportunities in United Way, from being a financial mentor. One of the primary ways United Way is trying to teach the Alice community is to educate the Alice community is through financial literacy programs. So if you have an accounting background or some sort of financial acumen, maybe maybe you run your own business, but you know enough, like Michelle, about money. You could teach others about how to balance a checkbook, how to set a budget, how to save money even when you don't make a lot of money, because you can save money even when you don't make a lot of money. It just takes practice. There's other ways to get involved with United Way. There's Holiday Hands. There's the backpack drive that they do in August of every year. I could go on. But, so, we're really thrilled to have you here. I'm so pleased with the turnout. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time, during the business day, because we know it started at 4 o'clock. My business day usually doesn't start, end at 4 o'clock, so I appreciate everybody taking the time, to take away from what you were doing in your lives to show up here and learn about Alice. But really, I want you to take another step. We want you to take another step today, and that is to give. To advocate if you can't give, and if you can give, advocate and volunteer, that's wonderful. If you can give and advocate, great. If you can, advocate and volunteer, that's good too. If you do only one of those, that's perfect. But please, if you have a commitment to Hunterdon County because you grew up here, because you started and run a business here, because you raised your kids here, because you have a career here, and you are making and earning a living here, and you're not in Alice, then I think we owe it to this community. And as a business owner in this community that's been good to me, to give back to this community. And so that's what we're asking you to do today. So please. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.